Good evening. The desert stretched endlessly in every direction, an ocean of sand and stone under a blistering sun. Roads cracked and half buried by drifting dunes cut across the land like scars. For decades, truckers and wanderers whispered about a town out there, one that wasn't on any map. Some called it Ashthorne, others simply the Silent Town. They said anyone who went looking for it never came back. But to four strangers, drawn together by curiosity and desperation, the legend was irresistible. Ethan, a travel vlogger chasing clicks. Rachel, a graduate student obsessed with abandoned places. Tom, an ex-soldier who didn't believe in anything he couldn't shoot. And Claire, who claimed she had dreamed of the town for months. Together, they followed a forgotten highway into the desert, the sun dropping low as the sky turned blood red. At first, the town looked ordinary enough. Rows of houses, a diner, a gas station, the kind of place where life had once thrived, until it didn't. Dust coated every surface. Doors stood ajar, signs swayed in the hot wind, but not a single person remained. They parked on Main Street, stepping into silence so deep it felt like sound itself had died. Rachel whispered, "It's like they all just walked away." Ethan filmed every corner, narrating excitedly. But even he lowered his voice as though afraid of waking something. In the diner, plates of food sat on tables, blackened with age but untouched. Cups half full of coffee, still warm in their dreams. A jukebox in the corner flickered faintly, though the power lines had been cut long ago. When Ethan touched it, the machine groaned and sputtered to life. A single record began to play, warped and slowed, as if sung by voices underwater. Claire pressed her hands to her ears. "I've heard this song. In my dreams." The others laughed uneasily, but no one turned it off. As night fell, they set up camp in the old motel. That was when the town began to change. The neon sign outside blinked once, then flared to life, buzzing with impossible power. Streetlights glowed, radios crackled with static. Televisions flickered in empty rooms, displaying black and white footage of families smiling, waving, then freezing mid-motion. And on every screen, one by one, the faces turned toward the camera. Toward them. Tom swore and smashed a TV. Sparks rained, but the screen lit again, untouched. Rachel whispered, "We shouldn't have come here." Sleep was impossible. The motel walls seemed to breathe, groaning in the night. Whispers slithered through the vents. Too soft to understand, too constant to ignore. Ethan wandered outside with his camera. He filmed the streets, the glowing windows, the shifting shadows. When the others found his camera hours later, it was still recording. The footage showed Ethan staring at something just out of frame. He whispered, "They're coming back." Then he smiled, too wide, too wrong, and walked into the darkness. He never returned. By morning, the town was different again. Buildings had shifted. Streets stretched where none had been. The map of the place changed while they slept. Claire insisted they follow her. She said the town was leading them somewhere. Against their better judgment, Tom and Rachel followed. The church stood at the end of a street that hadn't been there yesterday. Its doors creaked open, though no wind blew. Inside, the pews were filled, not with people, with shapes. Figures sat in silence, heads bowed, faces blurred as though smudged from memory. Their mouths opened in unison, a soundless hymn filling the air. Rachel screamed. The figures lifted their heads. Dozens of eyes that didn't belong to any human, stared directly at them. They fled. The town shifted again. Streets closed. Houses leaned inward, narrowing alleys into traps. Every turn brought them deeper instead of out. Tom fired his gun at doors, windows, shadows. But the bullets vanished mid-air, swallowed by the silence. At last, they reached the gas station. The pumps bled black liquid that smelled like rot. The price board flickered numbers endlessly, never settling. Inside, the shelves were lined not with food but with jars. Each jar contained something alive, small, writhing shapes that beat against the glass. Claire walked among them, tears streaming. "These are us, pieces of us. They've been waiting." Before either could stop her, she opened a jar. The thing inside crawled up her arm, burrowed beneath her skin. Her eyes rolled back. She collapsed, body twitching. When she rose again, it wasn't Claire anymore. Tom dragged Rachel toward the edge of town. The desert was visible ahead, freedom just beyond reach. But no matter how far they ran, the edge never came closer. The streets looped endlessly, folding back on themselves. Rachel fell, sobbing. "We'll never leave." Tom pulled her up. "We will, we have to." Then a bell tolled. The town froze. Every building groaned, turning toward them. Windows cracked open like eyes. Doors gaped like mouths. And from every corner, figures began to emerge. Not the faceless congregation this time, but the townsfolk. Men, women, children. Perfectly normal, smiling. They welcomed Tom and Rachel with open arms. Rachel's eyes widened. "They look just like us." And she was right. Every face was theirs. Duplicates of themselves. Laughing, reaching, pulling them into the crowd. Tom screamed as hands dragged him down. Rachel struggled, clawing free for just a moment. She ran, sprinting blindly until the streets blurred into one endless corridor. At the end stood a mirror. Her reflection smiled at her. Behind it, the entire town waited. She pressed her hands against the glass. Her reflection pressed back. Then, with a crack like breaking bone, it pulled her through. The glass sealed. The corridor was empty. The silent town still waits in the desert, shifting with the sands. Sometimes it looks like ruins. Sometimes it looks alive. But always, it calls to those who shouldn't listen. And when they come, they never leave.